No opening crawl. Just me and a nice calming cup of chamomile tea. So we're all just gonna have a nice, calm, relaxed discussion about Star Wars. By the way, this is going to be a spoiler-filled review. I don't know how I can talk about some of the things I liked or disliked about the film without talking about them, so spoilers everywhere for The Rise of Skywalker. As you guys know, I had a pretty hot take that I actually enjoyed The Last Jedi. So what are my feelings about this film? I honestly left the theater thinking I was very middle of the road. I left feeling excited, yet something still wasn't sitting right. Because The Last Jedi kind of proved that they were trying new things. So this movie was in a really difficult position where they could either stay their course and commit to what they had done and say, screw what the fans are saying, we've got our story, or they could apologize for it and try to fix some things. That's one thing that I thought was really unfortunate with The Rise of Skywalker. There is so much apology in it. A great example of what I mean is this one part where Rey takes Luke's lightsaber and she's at her lowest point and she chucks it away in anger. And Luke's Force Ghost just steps forward and says, "A Jedi weapon should be treated with more respect." You could really feel like there was a checklist that the writers were going through. Like, okay, what are all the things that people hated that we got mad hate on Twitter about? You really do get the feeling that the first two movies, something was just sucked out of them. That's something being important. To get rid of a lot of what you've already established in the past two movies and then have to set up something else, it's gonna feel a bit rushed. Oddly enough, though, in regards to the runtime, this movie didn't really feel that rushed. It felt very long. One thing that did benefit from the runtime of this movie, though, was just the development of Kylo Ren and Rey. I think that Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley carry this movie. They're both giving it their all, and they really sell being conflicted, both in their very different ways. What I liked about this movie is that this is probably the only set of Star Wars movies where I'm actually a little uncertain about where each character is going to end up. And on the topic of things that they got right, small moments like Han showing up as a Force ghost to Kylo Ren. And when they start to say goodbye to each other, and instead of saying anything, Han just looks at him and says, "I know. I melted because I'm a sucker." Oh my god, Chewie hearing that General Leia Organa has died and he just collapses onto the ground and starts doing his Wookiee bellows. I cried. I cried with Chewie. I cried for Chewie. Speaking of Chewie, by the way, the first time we see Rey using her lightning hands powers, it's a moment where Rey and Ren are both fighting over holding this ship that's flying away with Chewie being held captive. And Rey's exerting herself so much that eventually you just see this and the ship blows up with Chewie in it. Holy shit. And with that being said, this movie, just as well as The Last Jedi, will surprise you. Some of the surprises are good. Some of the surprises are bad. One surprise that I'm sure is going to be very divisive is that Rey is a Palpatine. I think Kylo Ren just about verbatim says, "No, I didn't lie. Your parents were nobody. They were nobody, but they were descendants of somebody who was somebody." Backpedal, 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 backpedal. I think that was why I needed time to let this movie sit a while, because I needed time to digest what the other movies had set up and where this movie puts all those things into context. Like The Last Jedi brought up the phrase, "Let the past die, kill it if you have to." The thesis of this movie could be, let the past die until it comes back. Then you have to kill it again, just like other people did before. So to sum up those couple things that really bothered me about the movie, the pacing with the two MacGuffins was a bit excessive. The one or two scenes where Luke's Force Ghost is just doing something cool, just about smiling into the camera as he does something cool, like, look at Luke doing cool stuff. You like cool stuff, right, guys? No one's suckling green milk from a swollen teat here. Ugh! Swollen teat. But the two things that really, really stuck with me, and the things that probably ruined the movie most for me, all the Reylo fans finally got their wish, and Ben and Rey do a little smoocheroo. These characters weren't there yet. Like, the two of them start this movie hating each other. And not a cute, Han and Leia trading saucy banter. No, seriously, I hate you and everything you stand for. Die. It felt like another thing on the checklist of things they had to do to make fans happy, and it did not feel earned. The Rise of Skywalker. Why is it called The Rise of Skywalker? At the very end, the titular Skywalker turns out to be Rey. She's at Luke's home planet of Tatooine. Someone comes by to ask what she's doing in such a desolate place, and what is your name? Rey. Rey Skywalker. No. I thought Rey's arc was a little bit more of one of acceptance, and that it might have been even more powerful if she answered, Rey. Just Rey. I guess you could say that this is her letting go of everything that was in her past, and she's making a new identity for herself. But I think that all it does is show that she still has this attachment to her identity, or who her parents are. This movie, while it was very exciting, just kind of wound up playing it safe. Everything just landed in such an odd place. The reason why I think that this isn't worthy of your valuable hate energy is because it just left at such a meh point. Anyways, guys, that is my review for Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. I hope you enjoyed this review more than I enjoyed the movie, and I will see you next time.